Fáilte, díogait. So I got a question in off my mailing list from Aisling, and I said, rather than just email her back a response to it, I said I'd do a little YouTube video because it's a common problem in Ireland. So I thought it might be useful for anybody else who might be, facing the same kind of issues. So it's about a fairy fort or a rath. And Aisling said, hello, Laura. I was hoping to borrow 2 minutes of your time. I'm about to move house to a home where there is a fairy fort or a rath on the boundary of our site. I'm looking for resources to guide me on how best to introduce ourselves and live beside this special place with mutual respect. I'm not coming up with anything of substance in my internet searches. Would you be able to suggest something I could read? Really appreciate any guidance. All the very best, Aisling. Okay, so I told Aisling that I would do a little YouTube, and I'm just going to see if I can share the screen here. Yep, that should. Okay, and we can. There we go. Okay, so what we have here is the bar that we don't need there. What we have here, there we go, is the National Monuments Service website. And what I wanted to show first off is that the first thing you need to do if you have a rath or a fairy fort or anything like that on your site, on your house or on your land or anything, is to find out all you can about it, okay? So you will be able to go to the National Monument Service and go into the Archaeological Survey of Ireland. So this is archaeology.ie, and that'll get you the National Monument Service website. And then the Archaeological Service of Ireland, you can just click on there, okay? Survey of Ireland, apologies. So what you're looking for is this, the Historic Environment Viewer. And we're going to just open that up. Okay, so you click to accept conditions and continue. Now, unfortunately, this only does cover the Republic of Ireland. I've been caught a couple of times at that when I've travelled into the 6 counties and been a little bit lost for my usual resources of looking at sites. But what you can do is up here, you can enter the address, and I don't know how, the information that's in there isn't always searchable in the way that you might think it would be searchable, let's put it that way. So like if I put in Athlone, then absolutely Athlone will come up, but it comes to a very particular part in Athlone, so there's you'd still have to like go. So these blue dots that are here are built heritage. So this is, if you click on them, you get a little registry. So this is a house. The built heritage is the kind of the later stuff. So gates, railings, walls, so it's that kind of stuff that is shown in the built heritage. What we're looking for is some red dots, which you can see here. So red dot in the grounds of the Radisson Hotel. Now that's interesting. Oh, I'm after doing that wrong. So that is a religious house, the Franciscan Friars in Athlone, and you get a little entry about it. Now, not all the sites have an entry to them, but you can at least get the class of it. You can get this number here. If you can find your particular rath on the map like this, and like you can move around the map as well. So even if you got like your nearest village or town or something, if you couldn't find your own particular address, you got your nearest village and town, and you just kind of wander around the map until you find it. That's a standing stone there. Over here in a housing estate is a burnt spread, so that would be a pipe trench exposed a layer of ash, charcoal and burnt soil. That could be a Fulcht Fia, and definitely it was like a cooking fire or something like that. Over here, I have a bull on stone. So I mean, this is all the outskirts of Athlone town, which is practically a city, on a slight rise in a low-lying landscape, the basin of a bull-on stone. So bull-on stone is the stone with the hollow in it that collects water, that is often used as a healing site, ritual site, a holy well. You know, like you can really see all the different bits and pieces that are in your area. So I do recommend anybody living in Ireland actually does this and see what's around you personally, what's around your own home and all the rest of it. But once you have that, a bit of information about that, you have the name of the site, you can go and, I mean, if you get this number, this is a watermill, you can go, and what I would do is put that into Google, this classification number into Google, along with your county council. So this would be Westmeath County Council, and see what comes up, because they will often have a register of sites within the county that's listed through the county council, or you can actually contact the county council and see if there's any more information available on that particular site. And you're really in kind of research mode at this point. So once you have that done, you have the name and you have a bit of history, I would go on to duchas.ie, and go into the schools collection. So this is duchas.ie. Go into the schools collection, click on that, and then either search for your townland or just look, you know, by county. Again, County Westmeath. Don't know why I chose Athlone, it's just in the middle. In County Westmeath, you'll actually see the names then of all the schools. So if you're in Castlepollard, County Westmeath, you can go to that area, that region, through all those different schools and have a look and see if you can find anything about that particular fairy Rath or ring fort, or you can just search for your townland or the name of it and see what comes up. And this is a little bit less precise, but definitely it's worth kind of going and having a look, okay? And then the other thing I do is, you know, go down to the local pub and talk to people, buy somebody a drink and see, you know, who knows what, ask the barman or barwoman, who knows what. You know, generally the kind of smaller old man pubs are better for this kind of thing. And buy somebody whiskey and they'll tell you anything, you know. But go and have a chat and just kind of hang out. You might have to go a few times, you know, until you kind of build a bit of trust. But go and have a chat and hang out and see if you can find out as much as you can about this particular site, right? And what the local folklore is and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, this might all seem very kind of conventional and very, you know, not very magical at all, but actually this is where the magic starts. This is the building relationship. And then I would say, you know, once you kind of know where you're at and what the site was used for, what kind of a site it is, you know, was it a ring fort? Was it a D-shaped fort? Was it a cairn? Was it, you know, what the actual site was used for, and find out what whatever the site type is, find out as much as you can about those monument types. So you really kind of know what you're dealing with, because it's a very different thing whether it was a medieval domestic dwelling or a Bronze Age burial mound. Those are going to be very different energies that you're dealing with. And that's before you even start getting into the other crowd that are probably hanging around on it as well. Like, the other thing to see is to see what kind of trees are growing on it. And, you know, if there's a lot of hawthorn, it's probably more along, or blackthorn or elder, more along the she side of things. And, you know, like, just being able to actually deal with the spirits of those trees as well, see what plants are growing there. All that kind of stuff is really, really important. So you're on basically fact finding for the first month or two, I'd say. I really would. And, like, in the meantime, you can start, if you're going to be living there, like, developing good relations with your bird neighbours is a really good way to start to build relationship with the site that they live on. So definitely kind of wild bird food out and around is a good idea. And, you know, maybe do a little bird feeder or some kind of fat balls or something hanging from a tree on the site, and just kind of see. Now, obviously, coming into summer, that's less necessary, but, you know, even a bit of a bird feeder then through the summer would be really useful. Sorry, a water feeder is what I meant, through the summer would be really useful. And, you know, you start to kind of build relationship. And then, like, as you're processing through and as you're learning things about the site, then you start going out and actually spending time on it and just showing up. And if it's right beside your house, you can show up every day. You can go and take a stroll out, feed the birds in the morning, top up their water, and just sit for a few minutes and just show up. And when you're sitting quiet like that, you know, don't be on your phone or anything. When you're sitting quiet like that, you'll find that you start to tune in really to the energy of the site. And as you're tuning in, you're actually making space available. So it's an offering in itself. So, you know, you could go out and you could start pouring cream all over the site, or honey or whiskey or whatever, but you don't even know kind of what you're offering to or anything like that. So literally just going out and showing up. And, you know, like I'm not saying kind of go out and just open yourself to the energies that are around there, but in conjunction, this is why we're doing our research first. I mean, if this was a ritual, you know, burial site, then there might be some unquiet spirits there. If it's a known, you know, entrance to the other world, if there's a lot of kind of folklore about demons and monsters that, you know, happen out of the hills, or nasty, you know, fairies that don't have a good relationship with the humans, like all of those are clues for how kind of careful you need to be as well. So which is why I say to do your research first, because, you know, you're not necessarily dealing with, or you're probably not dealing with gentle, fluffy, well-meaning energies, really, you know, when you're dealing with anything in the Irish landscape or the other world. So definitely caution and care is needed. And again, that, you know, that will be, you'll have a much better platform to work from, a much better foundation to work from, if you know as much as you can about the site. And it really is worth doing that work. I know it's a bit of a top load of work up front, but, you know, do it, because this is your neighbor, you know. Consider it like getting to know your neighbors. And the more information you have, your neighbors may or may not have your best interests at heart. So the more information you have about them, the better. This is your what do they call it? Recon. So now, all of that being said, given time, given the right kind of respect, given the proper kind of building of relationships like this over time, there's no reason that you can't have a mutually respectful, neighbourly relationship with who or whatever is living at the fairy fort or at the Rath. So put the time and the effort and the energy in and build your relationship. And, you know, after a year of like showing up every day, you might start to get stuff back, you know, and you might start to get some benefit from it yourself as well. So that's my answer to that question, and hopefully that's helpful for Aisling or for anybody else in the same circumstances. And I will catch you in the next video. So slán go fóill.